Thank you. So welcome today to the special meeting for LAUSD Redistricting Commission for Saturday, October 9th at 11 a.m. for a public input hearing to gather testimony on the draft maps. So before we begin, I want to thank everybody for joining us today, but I also want to start with some announcements related to translation. So why don't we begin with Korean announcement?
네, 안녕하십니까. 2021년 10월 9일 토요일 오전 11시 로스앤젤레스 통합교육부 경계선 조정위원회에 오신 모든 분들 환영합니다. 한국어 동시통역이 제공되고 있습니다. 동시통역을 듣기 원하시는 분들은 아래 하단에 있는 지구본 모양을 클릭하여 주시면 되겠습니다. 한국어를 선택해 주시기 바랍니다. 감사합니다.
Okay, thank you. Can we now do the Spanish announcement?
Buenos días. Para poder escuchar la presentación en español, pueden seleccionar abajo de su dispositivo el globo donde dice interpretación, escoger el idioma español para escucharla en simultáneo. Gracias.
Okay, thank you. So what we'll do is we'll begin by the commissioners introducing themselves, and that will kind of double as a roll call, I believe, Andrew, right? Introducing themselves, giving who appointed them to this commission, any ex parte communication to report, and any comments they'd like to have as well. So why don't we begin? I'll begin with myself, Luis Sanchez. I was appointed by board member Monica Garcia, District 2. I have no ex parte communications to report, and thank you for joining us for one of the final public input hearings we're having this week. So now I'll pass it over to Vice Chair Ambry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on a Saturday. Appreciate everyone's attendance. My name is Andrea Ambrose, and I was appointed to this commission by LA City Mayor Eric Garcetti. I have no ex parte communications to report today, and really want to encourage folks, if they aren't able to join us today, if you know folks that couldn't make it, to email us, to reach out to us on our website or in other ways. All of the commissioners are very eager to hear your comments. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Vice Chair Ambris. Can we now do Commissioner Gruhl?
Good morning, it's Wendy Gruhl. How are you this morning? So happy to be here with you all. And I was appointed by board member Nick Melvoin, and I have no ex parte communications to report, as well as I just want to thank all those that are in attendance, not only our commissioners, but of course, all those that are public comment and all the letters that we're getting in. It's really extraordinary to see that participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gruhl. Can we have Commissioner Hernandez?
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And good morning, everyone. Christy Hernandez, I was appointed by Los Angeles City Mayor Eric Garcetti. I have no ex parte communication to report. And I just want to thank everyone for making the time to join us today and for making your voice heard in this process. We do appreciate it and look forward to continued engagement here moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hernandez. Can we now have Commissioner Dahan?
Good morning. This is Ana Teresa Dahan, appointed by City Council City Council President Mary Martinez, and I do have ex parte communications to report. Yesterday at 2 o'clock for my work, we hosted Council President Mary Martinez's Chief Legislative Director to talk to our group about general issues impacting the city, and the topic of redistricting did come up, and it was communicated on behalf of the participants, shared an update with her in the meeting about concerns that the redistricting process for LAUSD is going to get certified by by the city, even though LAUSD represents several municipalities or covers several municipalities. That was my communication to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dahan. Can we have Commissioner Johnson go next?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Elizabeth Johnson. I was appointed by Dr. McKenna in District 1, and I appreciate the fact that you all are taking your Saturday morning to come out for this important meeting. And I would also encourage you to continue to let people know that this process is going on and they still have an opportunity to get information to us as well as their feelings known about the maps that have been presented to this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Can we have Commissioner Lundqvist go now?
Hi, my name is Dr. Lorraine Lundqvist. I was appointed by school board member Scott Schmerlson in Board District 3, and I don't have any ex parte communications to report, but I, again, just want to echo what everyone else is saying, that we're so grateful to all of you who have come out to let us know your thoughts on this redistricting process on a Saturday morning. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Commissioner Lundqvist. Can we have Commissioner Lopez Ledesma go next?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. Yvette Lopez Ledesma, appointed by City Council President Nuri Martinez. I do have ex parte communications to report on Wednesday, October the 6th at around, I want to say like 5 p.m. Approximately. I did reach out to the to Council President's Chief of Staff, Ackley Padilla, to also make him aware that I had a family emergency and I would not be participating in the redistricting meeting that evening, or the public hearing, I should say. And thank you all for being here.
Oh, thank you. Okay, sorry. Okay. Commissioner Waite.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Barry Waite, councilman from the city of Lomita, which, if you don't know where Lomita is, we're the tiny sliver between city of Torrance and the city of LA community of San Pedro. I'm representing the 7th district, having been appointed by Dr. Vladovic, and now representing our new board member, Tanya Ortiz Franklin. And I have no ex parte communications this morning, although I did want to mention that yesterday I met with our Assemblyman Al Maritsucci and updated him on the process.
Thank you, Commissioner Waite. Last, Commissioner Rapeni.
Sure. I'm Heather Repenning. I'm appointed by Mayor Eric Garcetti. I have no ex parte communications to report at this meeting. And I also want to welcome everyone, and we very much value your input and your insights into this process, and look forward to hearing from the community today.
Thank you, Commissioner Rapeni. So that's all the commissioners. So once again, before we take on items noticed for public hearing, I want to, because I saw a growing list of attendees that have joined the meeting. So let's do the announcements once again for languages. So let's start this time with Spanish.
Buenos días. Si desean escuchar la presentación en español, pueden oprimir el botón del globo para escuchar ahí español y escuchar la presentación de manera simultánea.
Thank you. And now the Korean announcement.
네, 한국어 동시 통역을 원하시는 분들은 하단에 있는 지구본 모양을 클릭하여 주셔서 한국어를 선택해 주시면 되겠습니다. 이 광고가 끝나는 대로 동시 통역을 제공해 드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Great, thank you. So now we're going to begin with the items noticed for public hearing. So item number one is, you're like a weird feedback, sorry. A public input testimony regarding LUSD redistricting, draft maps, and communities of interest. For first item A is the introduction and presentations on commission structure and process and draft maps. So we're going to begin with the presentation.
Welcome to the LUSD Redistricting Commission's public input hearing, and thank you for attending. The LUSD Redistricting Commission is composed of 15 members, 7 appointed by each member of the LUSD Board of Education, 4 appointed by the Los Angeles City Council President, and 4 by the Mayor of the City of Los Angeles. The commission has elected myself, Luis Sanchez as chair, Ms. Andrea Ambriz as vice chair. To date, we have had meetings to organize ourselves, establish our procedures and processes, and hire staff. We have also created 2 standing committees, the Outreach Committee co-chaired by Wilma Franco and Elizabeth Johnson, and the Data and Mapping Committee co-chaired by Ana Teresa Dahan and Barry Waite. This hearing is part of the phase of soliciting public input in our work. There will be many other opportunities. We are committed to providing the residents of the Los Angeles Unified School District with full opportunity to participate in this process. The full commission will hold a second round of hearings during the first week of October to receive further input from the public. Our final map must be completed by October 29th. Once our map is finalized, it will then go to the City Council, which has until December 31st, 2021 to adopt the final map. We are making redistricting software and data available to the public so you may submit your own recommended maps. We also are making the information we gather available online through our commission website, redistricting2021.lacity.org/LUSDRC, as well as providing the public the opportunity to submit testimony, comments, and maps online. We encourage all LUSD communities and stakeholders to engage in the redistricting process so that communities have equal access to political representation. How and where districts are drawn can shape a community's ability to elect representatives of their choice. Before we begin receiving your comments, the city attorney will provide a brief overview of the redistricting law and criteria that we are obligated to follow.
On behalf of the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office, we welcome you to this public hearing of the LAUSD Redistricting Commission. Our office's role is to provide legal advice to the city, including this commission, throughout the redistricting process. We would like to take this opportunity to discuss several important laws and legal principles that apply to redistricting. The Los Angeles City Charter requires the City Council to redraw the lines for the LAUSD's 7 Board of Education districts at least once every 10 years. The Charter creates this redistricting commission to advise the City Council on the drawing of LAUSD Board of Education district lines. The Charter requires the redistricting commission to obtain public input, prepare a redistricting proposal, and present the proposal to the City Council. Several important legal criteria govern the redistricting process. The equal population principle. Board of Education districts must contain, as nearly as practicable, equal portions of the total population of the Los Angeles Unified School District. This principle is established in the City Charter and also in the United States Supreme Court's one-person, one-vote decisions. The United States Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. The United States Supreme Court has held that race cannot be used as the predominant factor in drawing district lines, such that traditional redistricting criteria are subordinated to the considerations of race. The Voting Rights Act of 1965. The Voting Rights Act prohibits voting practices which result in a denial or abridgment of the right to vote on account of race, color, or language minority status. Redistricting plans must be analyzed under the Voting Rights Act to ensure they do not deprive minority voters of an equal opportunity to elect representatives of their choice in violation of the Act. Traditional redistricting criteria. Federal, state, and city law have established several traditional redistricting criteria, all of which shall be considered to the extent feasible when drawing district lines. What are the traditional redistricting criteria? Contiguity. All parts of a district should connect. Compactness. Districts should be geographically compact. Existing boundaries. Districts should utilize boundaries such as geographic, street, and political boundaries and conform to high school attendance zones. Communities of interest. Districts should preserve neighborhoods and communities of people sharing common interests. More information regarding the laws governing the LAUSD's redistricting process are available on the Redistricting Commission's website, redistricting2021.lacity.org/LAUSDRC. Thank you.
Now that you've heard the criteria the Commission must use and consider when redrawing the LAUSD school board member boundaries, what data was used to draw the draft maps? There are many types of demographic and geographic data the Commission used, as well as taking into consideration hundreds of submitted public comments from across the school district. The 2020 census data is the official data set the Commission uses for the redistricting process. The data is adjusted to take into account the reallocation of the state prison population as required by state law. This data includes the raw population data as well as ethnic data based on population and voting age population. The Commission also took into consideration hundreds of written comments and verbal testimony during the first phase of our public input hearing process, including those comments submitted using our public comment form on our website. One of the most important data sets the Commission considered is school attendance zones, with an emphasis on high school attendance zones as required by the Los Angeles City Charter. The Commission also considered middle school attendance zones and is continuing to examine school feeder patterns to ensure that representation is fair and equitable for residents, parents, and students. The Commission considered other community-related data sets as well, including information from the American Community Survey, neighborhood and city boundaries, major freeways, and neighborhood councils in the city of Los Angeles. What are the Commission's proposed draft maps? The Commission has submitted to the public 3 draft maps, Draft 1A, Draft 1B, and Draft 2 for your consideration, feedback, and comment. More detailed maps are available on our website at redistricting2021.lacity.org/LAUSDRC. Draft 1A from north to south keeps 2 districts whole in the San Fernando Valley, using the 405 freeway as the major boundary, with only 1 district over Mulholland Drive. Changes to District 6 in the Northeast Valley include losing portions of Van Nuys, Lake Balboa, and Reseda, while adding the communities of Valley Glen, all of North Hollywood, and Toluca Lake. District 6 is the same in all of the draft maps. Changes to District 3 in the West and Southeast Valley include adding all of Lake Balboa and Van Nuys, while losing Valley Glen and portions of the Reseda High School attendance zone. Changes to District 4 include adding all of the Reseda High School and University High School attendance zones, while removing portions of the Hollywood High School attendance zone east of Highland Avenue. Changes to District 1 include removing the city of Gardena, using the 110 freeway as the major eastern boundary, and including all of the Los Angeles High School attendance zone. Changes to District 2 include removing downtown Los Angeles, South Los Angeles, Pico Union, and Westlake, while adding all of unincorporated East Los Angeles, El Sereno, Highland Park, Eagle Rock, Glassell Park, Elysian Valley, Outwater Village, as well as portions of Hollywood. Changes to District 5, including adding downtown Los Angeles, more of South Los Angeles, Pico Union, and Westlake, while losing the other communities described in District 2. And lastly, changes to District 7 in the south include adding all of the city of Gardena and cleaning up the northern boundaries, mostly along high school attendance zones and the 110 freeway. Draft 1B is very similar to Draft 1A, with some minor changes to Districts 2 and 5. In Draft 1B, Los Feliz and Silver Lake are removed from District 5 and added to District 2, while Koreatown is removed from District 2 and added to District 5. Draft 2 also keeps 2 districts whole in the San Fernando Valley, using the 405 freeway as the major boundary. As stated before, District 6 is the same in all of the draft maps. Changes to District 3 include removing Studio City, Sherman Oaks, and Valley Village by using Mulholland Drive as the southern boundary and the 405 freeway as the major eastern boundary, with the exception of the community of Van Nuys, which is kept whole in the district. Changes to District 4 include removing all of the West Valley, which includes the Taft High School attendance area and the communities of Tarzana and Encino, while adding Sherman Oaks, Studio City, and Valley Village. Changes to District 1 include keeping a portion of the city of Gardena, using the 110 freeway as the major eastern boundary, and including all of the Los Angeles High School attendance zone. Changes to District 2 include removing Mount Washington and Angelino Heights, while consolidating portions of South Los Angeles. Changes to District 5 include adding Mount Washington, Angelino Heights, and portions of Hollywood east of Highland Avenue, while losing portions of South Los Angeles. And lastly, changes to District 7 in the south include minor changes to the northern boundaries, mostly along high school attendance zones in the 110 freeway, while keeping the city of Gardena split at Rosecrans Avenue. These are the draft maps for your consideration. The Commission must send the final map recommendation to the City Council by October 29th. Your input today and in the next 2 weeks is critical to help inform the Commission to make the best decisions possible. What type of public input are we seeking from the community? We want to know what you think. Are you in support of any of the draft maps, and why? Is there a particular district or district configuration that you would like or don't like? Let us know. What changes would you like to see made to the current draft maps? You can also go to our website at redistricting2021.lacity.org/LAUSDRC to use our online mapping tool where you can draw and submit your own maps to the Commission.
There are 4 ways for the public to provide input into the Commission's process. The first way is to attend a public hearing like you are doing today and tell us what you'd like to see in a map. The second way is through the public comment form on our website. The third way is to submit your map to the Commission, and the rules and procedures for doing so are on the website as well. Lastly, the Commission will be providing an online mapping tool to help the public draw their own maps.
Thank you again for attending our meeting today. To contact the Commission, you can reach us by email, phone, on our website, and you can follow us on social media. Our website is located at redistricting2021.org/LAUSDRC. On our webpage, the Google Translate button in the upper right corner is available to translate the website into multiple languages. On our homepage, you can easily RSVP for a public hearing, join any live Zoom webinars, and provide us with public comment with the click of a button shown in the middle of the page. The homepage menu also allows you to access the Commission's documents and tools. The public comment page under Community Engagement is where you can RSVP for a public input hearing, easily submit written comments, or you can email us at LAUSD.redistricting@LAcity.org. Additionally, our online mapping tool on the Maptitude software page is where you will be able to draw suggested maps to submit to the Commission. This page also provides the rules and procedures for presenting a map. We hope you visit our website at redistricting2021.org/LAUSDRC. And we hope you participate in future meetings with us.
We are holding 3 public input hearings to get feedback from the public on the draft maps. The hearings will take place on Monday, October 4th at 6:30 p.m., Wednesday, October 6th at 6:30 p.m., and Saturday, October 9th at 11 a.m.
Every public input hearing will have Spanish interpretation available using the Zoom interpretation button at the bottom of your screen. We will also provide interpretation in 12 other languages if we receive a request at least 72 hours before the meeting. When providing comments in any language other than English, please pause every 2 sentences to allow your interpreter to interpret your comment back to English. Feel free to contact us by email or phone, and don't forget to check out our website and follow us on social media. Now we will move into the public comment period of the meeting. Each member of the public wishing to speak before the Commission will have up to 3 minutes. Please select the raised hand option to speak and wait to be called on. When we call on you, please state your name and the boundaries of your community of interest. as an introduction to your comments. Once again, thank you for attending today's public hearing for the LUSD Redistricting Commission and for participating in this very important process.
Okay, thank you for that presentation. So now we're gonna move to the public testimony portion of this meeting. As a reminder, we have actually changed testimony to 2 minutes to be consistent for the meetings we had on Monday and Wednesday. And also I'm excited that we have a lot of attendees today and speakers for our last public testimony as well today. I want to do one more last announcement to ensure everybody has access to translation services. So can we start with Korean announcement and then Spanish?
Mr. Chair, just because we only have one Korean interpreter today, she's on the interpretation channel, and so we can't make a
okay.
announcement.
Oh, okay. So, so why don't we just do the Spanish announcement then right now?
A ver si desean escuchar la interpretación en español, pueden oprimir el botón del globo para escucharlo de manera simultánea y cuando vayan a hacer sus comentarios en español, recordar de hacerlo en 2 oraciones a la vez para que se pueda interpretar. Gracias.
Okay, so now I think it's time to begin public testimony. I'll pass it over to you, Gladys.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. In conformity with State Law AB 361, September 16, 2021, and due to concerns over COVID-19, the Los Angeles Unified School District Redistricting Commission meetings will be conducted entirely telephonically. Members of the public who would like to offer public comment via Zoom webinar on the items listed on the agenda should click on the raise hand function to request to speak. Members of the public who would like to offer public comment via phone on the items listed on the agenda should call 1-669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 161-077-4991 and then press pound. Press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press *9 to request to speak. And at this moment, we do have members of the public that want to give public comment today. And I'd like to turn it over to the city attorney for further directions for the public.
Thank you. To members of the public calling in to provide comment to the commission, when it's your turn to speak, we will announce your name or the last 4 digits of your phone number, or if you're dialing in with a blocked phone number, then we'll announce you as caller number 1 or caller number 2 or the like. When we announce your number or identifying information, then you are live in the meeting and it's your turn to speak. Please immediately press *6 to unmute yourself. You will have up to 2 minutes total to speak. And we'll let you know when your time is up and we'll move on to the next speaker. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you're not speaking on the agenda items, or if we can't tell whether you're speaking on the items, you will get one brief warning from me or the chairperson. If you do not immediately get clearly on topic or again, stray off topic, you will be cut off and will forfeit the rest of your speaking time, and we'll move on to the next speaker. To members of the public calling in, we understand that you might be listening to the broadcast of the meeting on the internet or another device. Because there's a time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast, please keep one ear on your phone so that when you hear when we announce the last 4 digits of your phone number, you can immediately press *6. Otherwise, we might think you're no longer in the line and move on to the next speaker. If you are also listening to the broadcast of the meeting over the internet or other device, please immediately turn down the volume of the broadcast on that device to avoid feedback and confusion because of the time delay. And now I'll turn it over to the chair. Thank you.
Great. So Gladys, can we begin with the first speaker?
Yes. Okay. First speaker by the name of Esmeralda Salazar. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, my name is Esmeralda Salazar and I've lived in Boyle Heights for 15 years. I'm a product of schools from the Northeast and I'm currently a student at Lincoln High School. I'm here asking commissioners to listen to our demands and keeping District 2 the way that it currently is. In the past 10 years, we have seen a lot of progress from new school-based wellness centers to increasing equitable school funding.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller with the last 3 digits, 993. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller with the last 3 digits, 993. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, commissioners. I am speaking on agenda item 2. I am a longtime resident of Lincoln Heights and an alumni of Lincoln High School. My nieces are currently seniors at Lincoln High School, and I see the change from when I attended school. Since my high school graduation, much has changed, and for the better. District 2 advocated for A through G for all and won. My nieces will now be college ready when they graduate high school next year. Overcrowded high schools were a problem when I attended school. My nieces are in schools that aren't as crowded due to the New Schools campaign that was won. The schools that were deteriorating and outdated are now getting the facelift they needed through the school modernization projects. Many victories have been won over the decade that have set the students in District 2 on the path to success, but we still have a long way to go. I am advocating for the map to stay as is. The struggles continue in communities that have a history of disenfranchised schools. Allow our students to continue on the path to victory. Allow us to keep our voice, keep the district as is. And I apologize, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Bridget Placentia. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Henry Perez. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, good morning, commissioners. My name is Henry Perez, and I am the Associate Director of Inner City Struggle. I'm also an LAUSD parent. I am calling in to urge the commission to keep District 2 as is in its current configuration. In past meetings, I have heard a statement from this commission that map 1A and 1B does not negatively impact any district. That is simply not true. With map 1A and 1B, what you are trying to correct in District 5, you are flipping on to District 2. The communities you don't want to see with the Southeast in District 5, you are now putting into District 2 with the East Side. How could that not be a negative impact? By reconfiguring District 2 this way, you will be diminishing the voice of East Side communities. The East Side has been able to have a strong voice within District 2 because we share a strong common experience with the communities throughout our district. That would not be the case with map 1A and worse with map 1B. Our strong common experience throughout District 2 has made District 2 a voice for equity, which has benefited not just the East Side, but high-need schools and communities throughout the entire district. Altering District 2 is a negative impact to the East Side and high-need communities throughout the LAUSD. No other district has pushed for equity as strongly as District 2 has. Do not take that equity representation away. Keep District 2 as is. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Laura. Can you unmute yourself?
Hello, commissioners. My name is Laura Savala. I've had the honor to work with District 2 students and families outside of LA for almost a decade, and I'm here in District 2 to stay intact as emphasize the importance around the East Side, rooted in being connected to a long history of community organizing and strong cultural roots. These roots of resilient and persistent working class immigrant communities of color. And it's also a community that still to this day continues to fight for the right to a quality education, affordable housing, accessible resources, and the right to have a voice in systems that have historically left out communities most impacted in decision-making spaces, something that would be at risk if District 2 were to absorb District 5 communities. And in the past 10 years, District 2 has championed historical shifts towards a more equitable and transformative education system that could not have been done without a collective vision of what East Side schools could look like and should look like. It is critical that District 2 stay intact and continue to drive educational justice in the East Side. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Waldo Gonzalez. Can you unmute yourself?
Hi, good morning, commissioners. My name is Waldo Gonzalez, and I've had the distinct honor and privilege of working with our amazing students and families in the east side of Los Angeles for the past 7 years. And I'm here today to ask that District 2 stay intact as is. The east side has a deep and proud history of fighting for justice and self-determination as a mostly immigrant working class community. The history of resistance, cultura, and community organizing is what keeps our communities rooted and connected. Today, our communities continue to struggle to demand quality public schools, affordable housing, wellness resources, and a just recovery from a pandemic that has disproportionately affected communities of color like the East Side. In the past decade, District 2 has championed historic shifts towards a more equitable and transformative education that could not have been done without the collectivized impact of community voice and leaders willing to advance the bold change we need. I am excited about the progress we have built and that we continue to cultivate as a community of interest. However, it is critical that District 2 stay intact as is to continue to advance educational justice and equity for Eastside schools and all of LAUSD students. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Gary Fordyce. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello. My name is Gary Fordyce, and I am a 45-year homeowner in North Hills West, west of the 405 freeway, and residing within Board District 3. I support map 1B, with 2 exceptions. For 45 years, Glen Hill Elementary and James Monroe High School have not been within Board District 3, within walking distance of my home. I am asking that you make the Northwest Valley whole, placing Glen Hill Elementary and James Monroe High School within Board District 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Stephen Ortega. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, commissioners. My name is Stephen Ortega, a former resident from the East Side, alumni from LAUSD, and an organizer fighting for racial equity and educational justice in LAUSD. This work is super important to me because it'll be impacting my community for the next 10 years. We are demanding that we keep District 2 as is in its current configuration. In the last 10 years, we have worked together as District 2 to be a voice for racial equity and educational justice, to undo the historical neglect our students have faced, and for them to succeed in their second homes. East Side residents fought 10 years ago to create a district where they can actually be represented. That is what District 2 is. East Side residents are here today to let you commissioners know to keep District 2 as it currently is in LAUSD. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Vicenta Martinez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Sí, muy buenos días. Mi nombre es Vicenta Martínez y vivo aquí en la área de Wesley MacArthur Park. Mi pregunta es, si van a juntar este distrito, soy del distrito 2, ¿cuál va a ser el beneficio? Sabemos que no podemos comparar la ciudad de Wesley MacArthur Park como Eco Park, Ciberley. Ahí no podemos, por eso mi pregunta es, ¿qué beneficio va a haber si hacen ese cambio? ¿Qué nos van a dar para Wesley MacArthur Park? Pero quiero que tomen en cuenta
Ok, un momentito, por favor.
no, sí, no estamos igual que el
señora,
Señor Martínez, espera un momento para que podamos traducir sus comentarios, sus comentos.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Vicenta Martinez. I'm from
Mi
the
nombre
area
es
of
Vicenta
Westlake,
Martínez. Vivo en Wesley MacArthur Park.
Wesley McCartland Park, and my question is about gathering this district. I'm from District 2, but would like to know what is the benefits if we gather Westland and Echo. We know that it's not the same as Echo Park, but what benefit would there be with these changes?
Eso es lo que a mí me preocupa. Sabemos que del 100% de los que vivimos aquí,
That's what concerns me. We know that 100% of the people that live here,
el 20% puede votar, los demás no podemos.
20% of us can vote and the rest of us can't.
Entonces, eso estoy preocupada que las personas que serían como Ciberley, ellos podrían hacer decisiones que a lo mejor a nosotros no nos va a beneficiar.
So that's why I'm worried, because people like from Silver Lake, they can make decision, and perhaps like us, we wouldn't be able to.
Ese es mi comentario. Muchas gracias.
That's my comment. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias por su comentario. Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Beatrice Soltero. Can you please unmute yourself?
Buenos días, comisionado. Mi nombre es Beatriz Soltero. Mis hijos asistieron a la escuela del Distrito 2.
Good morning. My name is Beatrice Soltero, commissioners. My children attend District 2.
Graduados de la Roosevelt High School y ahora tengo la segunda generación empezando su primer año en la escuela Evergreen Elementary.
Graduated from high school and now with the second generation entering Evergreen Elementary.
Tengo confianza en que ella recibirá el apoyo que antes no fue posible para mis hijos. Estoy aquí pidiendo que no separen el Distrito 2 y que lo mantengan como está actualmente.
I have confidence that she'll be able to receive the support, not like we didn't have before, but to keep them as it is with District 2.
A través del trabajo de muchas organizaciones, padres, estudiantes y miembros de la comunidad que han levantado sus voces,
The work of several organizations that have been done with parents and the community's communication,
para abogar hacia un distrito unificado que apoye más a nuestros estudiantes.
to be able to advocate for a unified district that can speak for our students.
Ahora estoy muy feliz de poder saber que los próximos 10 años de mi nieto serán más representativos para ella.
Now I'm very happy that the next 10 years, the representation will be better for my grandchild.
Su escuela recibirá fondos más apropiados para apoyar su crecimiento. Los próximos 10 años serán cruciales para su desarrollo, de manera que el distrito siga apoyando la equidad.
School funds will be able to support the growth, and it'll be crucial for the development that'll be happening with the district.
No es simplemente elegir un representante que abogue hacia la equidad. También es el apoyo que recibes de su distrito para asegurar que siga luchando por una educación justa para todos.
Not simply being able to select a representative that can advocate equity, but a district that can support for the struggling needs of the education.
Mantengan el Distrito 2 en la forma que está actualmente, para que mi nieta y todos nuestros estudiantes reciban una educación de calidad. Gracias.
Keep District 2 as it is. That way my grandchild and other kids could receive an equity education. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias por su comentario. Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Isabel Gonzalez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, commissioners. Can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Thank you. Hello, commissioners. My name is Isabel Gonzalez. I'm a former LAUSD graduate that for over a decade has worked with Eastside families to build, access, and advocate for academic success they want to see in their students and communities. I'm here because the work happening now around redistricting will be impacting the lives of thousands of children and families like the ones that I work with for the next 10 years. All of this brings me to my call this morning. I call on you commissioners to keep District 2 in its current configuration. Eastside residents fought 10 years ago to create a district where they can actually be represented and have a say in their school board. That is what District 2 currently is. Through the current configuration of District 2, Eastside communities have been able to lead the fight for educational equity with the support of students, parents, and residents from their communities. In the last 10 years, District 2 has been a champion of racial equity and educational justice, and has fought hard to undo the past decades of historical neglect students in our communities have endured. The fight for equity and justice is not only for District 2, however, but rather it really benefits all LAUSD students, and in turn, all the families and communities served by the school board. Thank you for your time, and I ask again to keep District 2 as it currently is and support the fight towards racial equity and educational justice for our schools, families, and communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Erica Jimenez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Hello, my name is Erica Jimenez, and I am a long-term resident of Boyle Heights. I'm calling today to urge the commissioners to keep District 2 as it is. I attended Roosevelt High School, and in my job now, I continue to work with Roosevelt and Mendez High School students. Roosevelt High School back in the day used to be a very impacted school because of that. And because of the advocacy of the community, 2 other high schools were opened in the East Side, such as Esteban Torres and Mendez High School, to reduce the overcrowding of students in the East Side schools. Roosevelt High School is also now being remodeled, and the modernization of Roosevelt High School has been possible because our community has fought long and hard advocating to ensure that our students get a state-of-the-art school. Our voices have been listened to in District 2, and we have been able to secure wins for our community like the Roosevelt Remodernization Project. I urge you to not break up District 2 apart, but that it continues to stay intact so that we can continue to advance educational justice and equity in the East Sides. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Alex Garcia. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello, proceed.
Okay. Hello, my name is Alexander. I'm a resident in Boyle Heights and a graduate of Alliance Morgan Mackenzie. I've lived in Boyle Heights in East LA for all my life. I'm here asking commissioners to listen to our demands in keeping District 2 the way that it currently is. At a young age, I was subjected to a lack of support within my schools. Kinder through 12th grade meant being subjected to the reality of scarce resources within my education several times, leading to my education suffering. Not only because of lack of funds, but also the realistic evil of a place of learning which values profit over the future and lives of myself and fellow peers. This led me to learn complex ideas and emotions at a young age, robbing me of lasting innocence. Boyle Heights is very similar to El Sereno, East LA, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. We have a history of fighting for equitable funding for our schools and racial justice. When we show up, when we come together, that is when change happens. We are in dire need of support, but we are building the systems we need to help one another. But this is only a temporary solution without representation at the district level, so that we can fight for the deep structural changes that have been brewing for generations. It is important for us to remain as a community of interest because we require representation at a district level. I ask that District 2 remain the same. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Argelia Garcia. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. Good morning, commissioners. Thank you for your time today. I am Argelia Garcia, product of Board District 2, property owner in District 2 as well, mother of 3, and resident of District 5. I also work on the east side of District 2, so this is very close to me. The most equitable choice is to maintain District 2 as is, its current configuration. District 2 shares a common interest, working tirelessly towards the same direction of educational attainment and creating opportunities for the historically neglected and de-invested communities. Along with the current District 2 representation, the strong ties, partnerships, and coalitions, pathways of investment have been built. Shared common values and goals have been defined, and academic achievement has improved. Changing the mapping can negatively affect the improvement and intentional work that has been carried out for the past 2 decades. Together, we also face the brunt of the pandemic. District 2 was one of the hardest hit by the COVID-19, as you all know, and its recovery progress can potentially be truncated if District 2 is reshaped. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Alejandro Juarez Ugalde. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Hi, hello. My name is Alejandro Juarez, and I'm an indigenous Mexica, Mexican Aztec dancer who has danced and shared our traditional practices across the county of Los Angeles, also known as Tongva territory. I've also worked in schools in the East Side, and I am here today because I am concerned about the redistricting maps being created because I want to make sure District 2 stays as it is. As commissioners, I urge you to make sure these maps represent the East Side community in its entirety and do not attempt to split the East Side community or lump us with communities that don't reflect our communities of interest. A more affluent community does not match the cultural, historical, and contemporary struggles that we in the East Side have endured. Since before the pandemic to right now, District 2 has prioritized equitable measures that prioritize the disinvested, working class, and most marginalized students and communities. We push for SENI, COVID protections, renters' rights, and policies that decriminalize our students. We demand a map that encompasses all historic communities of the East Side. Splitting our district and integrating us with other communities that do not share the values and struggles will come with a cost of equity and will set us back decades of work that our communities have fought so hard for. We need you all to please take our concerns into consideration and continue to champion the East Side that fights for true equity, justice, and liberties for all. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Sandra Perez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, my name is Sanyo Pratt. I'm a student at Huntington Park Institute of Applied Medicine, HPIM. I'm here today to demand that the commissioners draw maps that fully represent the voices in the Southeast. For the past 10 years, Board District 5 has been divided, which has silenced the needs in the Southeast region. The Southeast is a community with predominantly Spanish-speaking working-class families. I grew up going to places like Pacific Boulevard, where local community shops are at. The Southeast is also first-generation college students, and our needs are different from the schools in affluent communities. I personally come from a working-class family, and I will be the first in my family to go to college. I have a passion for the field of medicine, so that's why I chose to go to HPIM. Because it was a school that offered me better opportunities compared to Diego Rivera High School, attaining a degree in the medical field is something that does not seem possible for Black and Brown students because our schools have historically been disinvested. Our schools do not prepare us to be college ready, and we do not have role models to look up to because we are paving the way for our families. That's why it is important you draw maps that include communities that are similar so their needs can be uplifted. Schools in our communities don't have the same resources because they get lost with the more affluent communities, and it's a disservice to my education. Commissioners, I ask that you draw a better representation of District 5 by combining us with communities that share the same needs as us. Students in the Southeast should have the same opportunities to succeed, and our voices should not be silenced. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Megan S. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, hello. My name is Megan, and I am a community resident of Boyle Heights. I grew up in East Los Angeles, but I've been living in Boyle Heights for several years now. As the East Side, we have long advocated to bring resources back into our underfunded schools to help enrich our community. We as Boyle Heights share similar concerns and solutions with El Sereno, Lincoln Heights, East LA, and City Terrace. I ask that you keep District 2 as it is. We are at a place in our movement for equity in our school systems that we will be taken away from us if this changes. Keep District 2 the way it is now so we can keep advocating for the change that the pandemic showed us needs to happen now. I am here speaking and representing Boyle Heights. This means all my friends, family, and neighbors, especially the ones that wanted to be here and couldn't. Thank you so much, commissioners.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Ana Godoy. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, my name is Anna Godoy, and I have proudly been working with high school students in the East Side for the past 4 years. I'm here today because your decision on how maps will be drawn will have an impact on students' education for the next 10 years. And I want to make sure you leave District 2 the way it currently is. It is important District 2 remains as is because it includes communities of interest that have historically come together to demand an equitable education. In addition, these communities share very similar characteristics and lived experiences. It wasn't until 10 years ago that these communities got the representation they deserve when they became Board District 2. As commissioners, it is your duty to draw lines that uplift community voices rather than silencing them. 10 years is not enough time to undo the historical neglect students from communities in Board District 2 have faced. However, in the past decade, Board District 2 has championed equity and fought for policies that don't criminalize our students. But all of this progress is at stake when we cannot afford it. La lucha sigue as we recover from a pandemic that disproportionately impacted students across the district. Now more than ever, students from Board District 2 deserve representation that continues to uplift their needs. I urge you commissioners to keep Board District 2 to remain as is. Don't stop the movement and legacy in Board District 2 by drawing lines that lump them with communities whose needs drastically differ from theirs. And I did want to share that Estrella's Zoom got disconnected. So I hope that you all allow her to give her public comment because it wasn't fully executed in her time. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Brenda Ortega. Can you please unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
My name is Brenda Ortega, and I am here to ask that you keep District 2 the way that it currently is. I had the opportunity to work with communities in District 2 on the distribution of rapid relief funds to families in need. Housing is something that has been impacting our communities and our students' learning abilities. These are some of the issues that many of our communities are facing due to the pandemic, from not having peace of mind or knowing that they have a safe place to stay. District 2 is fundamental in pushing for equity to ensure that they continue to cater to students' needs, from ensuring that we are investing more funds in schools of higher need. Also, it is important that our schools are within districts that are common, and 10 years ago, we fought to ensure that we had those maps. We were able to win representation, and we have been pushing equity at a district level. Please protect equity and keep District 2 the way that currently is, so we could continue working in more equitable education system. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Jessica Panduro. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good morning, commissioners. Thanks for your extensive work. I am here today to ask you to acknowledge the work that has been done in the past 10 years towards equity and keep District 2 the way that it currently is. I am a proud product of District 2, and as an English language learner student of LAUSD, I was inspired by many who came before me that fought for our schools to really support students like myself, from ensuring that we all received the A through G classes to be ready for college. A lot of our students, speaking for myself, we didn't know about this, so for it to be implemented in our school really supported us. And now it's my turn to add to that legacy of community coming together to support our students. Through years of organizing, we have been able to create schools that are more supportive towards racial equity. There has been years of work of community coming together, and maps 1A and B, break that bond that we still have a long way to go. Our fight for equity is not only for District 2, but for all students of LAUSD. In the last 10 years, we have worked together as District 2 to be a voice for racial equity and educational justice, to undo the historical neglect of our students have faced. Thank you for your time, and I ask again to keep District 2 as it currently is, to continue our fights towards racial equity and educational justice. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Glenn Bailey. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, good morning, commissioners. Actually, it's now afternoon. Thank you, commissioners, for your service and your time. My name is Glenn Bailey. I'm a lifelong resident of the San Fernando Valley and a product of LAUSD schools, including Northridge Middle School and Cleveland High School. I thought about drawing my own map, but there's actually no need because draft map 2 comes very, very close to what I would have drawn, with a couple of exceptions. The neighborhood council boundaries are respected, again, with a couple of exceptions, and I'll comment on those. One of the exceptions you've heard about from an earlier speaker, Gary Fordyce, with regards to Gledhill Elementary and Monroe High School. The area that's between Nordhoff and Plummer that goes west of the 405 to Woodley Avenue in the adjoining district really should be included in this District 3 to make it whole. Secondly, an area that is in the southern portion, in the boundary line between Encino and Sherman Oaks, where Sepulveda Boulevard goes under the 405 and to the west, the line is drawn there along Sepulveda Boulevard. I acknowledge that that's the historical boundary line between Encino and Sherman Oaks before the 405 existed. And I looked up the school boundary. It looks like that area, and further to the west goes to Van Nuys Middle School. I don't have strong feelings, but I did want to make sure you're aware that the 405 boundary is the boundary between the Sherman Oaks and Encino neighborhood councils, even though historically Sepulveda, prior to Freeway, was the boundary between Encino and Sherman Oaks. In fact, that area does say Sherman Oaks. So I think that could go either way. And I had, and then I understand Van Nuys, just for population, that, that would be another area that wouldn't exactly correspond with neighborhood council boundaries.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment. Next caller with the last 3 digits, 981. Can you please unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Okay, hello, my name is Doris Coronel and I am a student at Isabel Gonzalez High School. I am here representing East Los Angeles and asking for this to remain the same. I have lived in East Los Angeles all my life for 17 years. I am here asking commissioners to listen to our demands and keeping District 2 the way that it is currently is. East Los Angeles is very similar to El Sereno, Boyle Heights, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights. Historically, these communities have come together to fight for equity and more resources within the community and fight for no school police on our campus. We want to ensure that we have proper representation and that we're able to come together to push for equitable funding in our community. The community's work may be challenged by dividing District 2. We have been able to win more funding and resources for our communities and also for the whole district. The fight for educational equity have been led by District 2 community. In the last 10 years, we have begun to undo injustice and discriminatory policies and practices in our school district. But our work is not done to repair the harm the historical neglect and disinvestments have had on our school and youth, which is why District 2 must be left as it is. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Lester Garcia. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Lester Garcia. I'm a resident of Board District 5 and a parent of 3. Also a former LAUSD commissioner. 10 years ago, I sat where you are sitting now and had to make some very difficult choices. I also serve as the Government Relations Director for SDIU Local 99, which represents 50,000 education and family childcare providers in LA County, and 30,000 of whom are employed at LAUSD. The reason why I'm calling in today is on behalf of our union, on behalf of myself as a parent, is to acknowledge, number one, the challenge that you all face ahead of you. You're going to hear from a lot of different, as you have the last couple of meetings, hear from a lot of different communities with a lot of different interests. It's a really difficult place to be in. And at the end of the day, your job is to make sure that you protect the civil rights of communities and that you ensure that you protect the citizen voting age population for those most historically neglected. I will say, if I can impart a piece of advice, not to get caught up in which way the political winds might be blowing at the time. The fact of the matter is that we have a lot of communities, the vast majority of communities have never seen somebody elected from their community, including Lomita, San Fernando, unincorporated East LA, unincorporated South LA. And at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you support maps that have the most equitable distribution of historically marginalized communities. It is our belief that map 2 does just that. It is the most equitable distribution. I think that there is a little bit of cleanup that can be made that could get District 5 up to about 60% Latino CVAP. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's the commission's responsibility to ensure that there is equity in these maps and that the lines are drawn in such a way that preserves the current communities of interest. Thank you very much, commissioners, and look forward to you supporting map 2.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Jocelyn Perez. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Jocelyn Perez. Can you please unmute yourself? Okay, we will go to the following caller. Caller by the name Sandra Guzman. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Hi, and good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Sandra Guzman. I am an Eastside member and former LAUSD graduate who has the honor of working with families from the Eastside area of Los Angeles. Today, I am here asking the board members to keep District 2 as is. The East Side of Los Angeles has fought a long way and hard to keep alive its cultural history of our community. Till this day, the community is powerful and it comes together to fight and strive for success like affordable housing, fighting for rent relief, greater education system, and making sure our voices are being heard. With the past 10 years that have passed, we have seen how there have been some historical changes towards a more reasonable and life-changing education that was made possible by the visions of an East Side schools and families. It is crucial that we keep District 2 balanced and stronger so that together we can champion for educational justice for our students and families. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Caller with the last 3 digits, 981. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, my name is Alejandro Mendoza. I attended Roosevelt High School. I live in Boyle Heights. I'm here to request for District 2 to remain as it currently is. My friend has been living in Boyle Heights for around 40 years. My dad and his siblings all went to Wilson High School. I would have kept the family tradition of going to Wilson, but Roosevelt High School was much closer to me. I went to Sheridan Street Elementary School, then I went to Holland Big Middle School, and now I'm at Roosevelt. It is important to keep the East Side together because we are very similar to our communities are working class families and Spanish speaking. Last year, I attended Wilson virtually, like most students in my community who had to take care of their youngest siblings during the pandemic. I was taking care of my 5-year-old cousin and I struggled with online learning. I didn't do so well as well I would like to. In District 2, we have been fighting to secure the resources our school needs. And according to the proposed maps, it doesn't make sense for District 2 to be paired up with schools from Northeast. Wilson and Roosevelt don't have the same things in common with schools from Atwater Village or Hollywood Hills. Those schools are more affluent and the communities in District 2 are working class families, Spanish speaking, and are first to be first-generation scholar students. Commissioners, I urge you to maintain District 2 together the way it currently is to ensure that we continue to push for equity across LAUSD. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Caller by the name Jocelyn Perez, can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, I'm actually using someone else's account because I logged into the wrong one. But anyway, my name is Juan Carlos. I live in East Los Angeles. I'm a student and East Side resident. I'm asking that you keep LAUSD District 2 as it currently is. As of the last years, we've gained a lot of traction organizing, advocating for resources back into our schools and our communities. And so it is without education that we're left out of many conversations, many opportunities. And really our youth has a history of being criminalized. We've worked really hard to undo this damage. I want to say that we cannot sacrifice education for profit. If it is that we want to break the school to prison pipeline, we need schools that nourish this intellectual imagination of our younger generations. And so these are things we share in common. The parents of Boyle Heights, El Sereno, Lincoln Heights, City Terrace. And we've really just been educating folks on how it is that they can make a difference at different levels. And so that's why it's important that we remain in District 2 as it is right now, so that we can keep fighting, we can keep mobilizing, because this work is far from done. Changing the current configuration would misrepresent us, cause us to lose a lot of important progress in stepping stone fights that we've been engaging for a really long time. And so I just want to end this by saying that our work isn't done, and I wish that you respect our best interests for particularly our immigrant working class community. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Michelle Aranda Cos. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, commissioners. My name is Michelle Aranda Cos, and I have the privilege of working with youth in the East Side of East Los Angeles. I'm here to demand District 2 to remain the way it currently is. East Side residents have fought for the last 10 years to create a district where we would properly be represented and fight for the needs in our community. It was a lengthy battle. Dividing District 2 would only undermine a decades-long work, which is why I am here today defending and requesting you to keep District 2 as it is. Through this map, District 2 has been able to lead the fight for educational equity with the support of students and parents and residents from the community. Our fight for equity is beyond drawing lines, but it is for all our students of LAUSD who benefit from District 2. In the last 10 years, we have worked together as District 2 to be a voice for racial equity and educational justice to undo the historical neglect our students have faced. Thank you for your time, and I ask again to keep District 2 as it currently is and to continue our fight towards racial equity and educational justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Ruby Rivera. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Ruby Rivera. I have served youth and families in District 2 over the past 10 years, and I am here on behalf of those I serve to urge you to keep District 2 as it is in its current configuration. The LAUSD Redistricting Commission must keep District 2 as is to prevent the leadership and voice of Lincoln Heights, Boyle Heights, El Sereno, and East LA residents to be erased and lost amongst communities whose needs drastically differ. 10 years ago, Eastside residents organized and fought to create a district where they can actually be represented. That is what District 2 is and represents to us. Since then, our communities have continued to organize and have worked together to make sure District 2 is a voice for racial equity and educational justice. District 2 was created by community for the community, having boundary lines that allow residents from historically neglected communities to have a powerful voice in deciding who represents them is transformational, healing, and paramount to disrupting harmful cycles created by decades of systemic neglect and disinvestment. The fight for educational equity has been led by the District 2 community, but our wins are felt by all LAUSD students. In the last 10 years, we have begun to undo unjust and discriminatory policies and practices in our school district, but our work is not done to repair the harm the history of disinvestment has had on our schools and our youth, which is why I, along with community members, are here today defending and urging that District 2 is left as is. Thank you for your time. And again, I ask, keep District 2 as it currently is to continue our fight towards racial equity and educational justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Maria Soltero. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Maria Soltero.
Buenos días, mi nombre es María Soltero, miembro de Familias Unidas y la Lucha del Pueblo. Yo vivo aquí en Boyle Heights. El día de hoy estoy aquí para pedirles que mantengan al este de Los Ángeles juntos. Donde vivo, las rentas son muy altas y muchas de las familias recurren a vivir en lugares muy chicos para ellos. Aquí en el sereno Lincoln Heights, siempre estamos luchando por quedarnos en nuestras casas por más dinero para crear mejores escuelas y parques. El Hospital White Memorial es donde muchos de nosotros
señora
recibimos...
Soltero. Señora, ¿puede parar un momento para que pueda traducir?
Okay.
Morning, my name is Maria Soltero, member of the Familias Unidas y Lucha del Pueblo here at Boyle Heights, and requesting that East LA remains together. Where I live, the rent is high, and many families try to remain in one small place because of it. And the rest here of Sereno and Lincoln Heights are fighting for the housing, for more money and better schools and parks. Puede continuar.
Cambios de cuando mis hijas mayores asistieron a Roosevelt y ahora que llevo a mi hija menor, ahora ya miro más prácticas de justicia restaurativa. También el incremento de apoyo que los maestros le dan a los estudiantes.
When my oldest child went to Roosevelt, now I see it with the youngest one, that justice is being restored and the support that's being given.
Mi hija tiene el privilegio de ir a una escuela con salones capacitados para desarrollar su aprendizaje.
My daughter has the privilege of going to classrooms where she's able to develop her capacity.
El Distrito 2 ha sido fundamental para asegurar que haya cambios a través del distrito escolar para poder alocar más fondos hacia nuestras escuelas de alta necesidad.
District 2 has been fundamental in being able to provide changes throughout the school district to allocate more funds in areas of high need.
También han llevado la conversación y resoluciones que apoyan a descriminalizar a nuestros jóvenes. Este es el tipo de progreso que necesitamos en nuestras escuelas.
They have also had conversations to be able to resolve and support discrimination among young people, and this is the type of topics that we need in order to have progress.
Que apoyen a nuestros estudiantes, por eso es muy importante que mantengan el Distrito 2 como está ahorita para seguir creando estos cambios. Muchas gracias.
To be able to support our students is very important to keep District 2 and to continue helping them. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias por su comentario. Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Norma Diaz. Can you please unmute yourself?
Sí, muy buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, proceda.
Gracias por la oportunidad de escuchar nuestras opiniones.
Yes, good
Yo estoy
afternoon. Thank you
pidiendo que
for
el
the
Distrito
opportunity.
5 se quede como está, ya que al hacer los cambios y con los mapas 1A y 1B, solo nos quitan territorio y al quitar territorio se quita poder.
Yes, good afternoon.
Sé que
Thank you
los
for the
cambios a
opportunity.
veces
Un
son
momentito, por
buenos.
favor. Thank you for the opportunity of being able to
Pero este
speak.
cambio solo generaría... Sí, perdón.
Señora Díaz, deja que pueda traducir cada 2 oraciones, por favor. Gracias.
Thank you for the opportunity and being able to hear us out. I ask that District 5 remain the same because with the changes being done in map 1A and 1B, there's territory being taken away.
Sé que los cambios a veces son buenos, pero este cambio solo generaría costos y cambios que no son necesarios.
I know that changes are sometimes good, but this change would only generate cost and changes that aren't necessary.
No es necesario cambiar de mapas, sino tener buenos representantes que luchen por tener las mismas oportunidades que tienen los mejores distritos.
It's not necessary to change maps, but to have good representatives that can fight to have the same opportunities as the good districts do.
Y apoyo que los mapas sigan igual y que podamos tener las oportunidades, todas las comunidades igual. Gracias.
I support that the maps remain the same and for all the communities to be able to have those opportunities. Thank you.
Muchas gracias por su comentario. Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Salvador Diaz. Can you please unmute yourself?
Sí, muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Salvador Díaz y vivo en la comunidad unincorporada de Walnut Park.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Salvador Diaz and I live in the unincorporated part of Walnut Park.
Estoy aquí representando a mi comunidad y a muchas personas que por causas que no pueden estar aquí, los estoy representando.
I'm here representing my community and several people that due to several causes cannot be here.
Estoy aquí para pedirle a los comisionados que dejen mi distrito como está. No necesitamos dividir nuestros distritos. Necesitamos... Sí.
I'm here to ask the commissioners to leave my district as it is. We don't need to divide the districts.
Lo que sí necesitamos es tener la unión y el poder de trabajar con los miembros de LUSD, con los padres que tengan voz, que nuestros hijos tengan una educación de alto nivel y que todas las comunidades tengan la misma igualdad y equidad para poder seguir adelante.
What we do need is to have the union and the power to be able to work with the members from LAUSD and with the parents to be able to have the voice, the kids to have the education of a higher level, and all the communities to be able to have equity and be able to move forward.
También yo les pido a los comisionados que tengan en consideración que el dividir nuestros distritos no nos da poder ni a los padres ni a nuestros hijos en tener una educación, ni a nuestras comunidades divididas, que eso no está bueno.
I also ask the commissioners to have in consideration the division of the district, that does not give us any power to the parents or the kids' education or dividing the communities, and that's not good.
Tenemos que cambiar un sistema que no ha trabajado por muchas décadas para poder solventar y tener unas leyes y estatutos que vayan actualizadas a la vida de educación y de población que hoy tenemos.
We have to be able to change a system that has not worked for several decades to be able to set laws and statutes that are up to date for the education and the population.
Consideremos tener nuestras comunidades como están hasta hoy día y eso sería mejor para todos. Muchas gracias y que tengan un feliz día.
let's consider having the communities like they've been up to now. That's all. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Muchas gracias por su comentario. Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Griselda Perez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners, for listening. As you hear, we are, District 2 is in unity and with different opinions, with different backgrounds, and one thing in common. My name is Griselda Perez. I'm a resident of Boyle Heights. I'm a longtime volunteer with Roosevelt High School and Soto Street Elementary, as well as a member of the ELAC committee and others. I have lived in the East Side for 23 years. I'm here asking as a mother and a community leader that you listen to our demands to maintain District 2 the way that it is now. For generations, we have fought for an equitable education for all students, and the end or targeted criminalization of our youth. There is a diverse need for things in our schools, and the options for students are very limited. It is important for District 2 to remain currently as it is, because we were powerful when we come together. We are learning our rights and how to make ourselves heard. We have been able to renovate local campuses and have continuously fought for resources to come into our highest needs schools. I'm here representing Boyle Heights and all the parents that I want to be here but are absent because they're working hard to put food on the table. Please keep District 2 and its current configuration so we can continue for our fights towards a more equitable education system. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name John. Can you please unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Hi, thank you very much for outreaching. I've always wondered how these district lines have been drawn, but it doesn't seem to me that the best interests of all of the students are being taken into consideration here, because it seems to me that all of the feeder schools into one high school, which I understand are called community of schools, they should all be in the same district and they should all be represented by the same board member. And it seems also that when you have multiple board members representing that same community, you're diluting and marginalizing that community. Also, when you have districts in the San Fernando Valley attached to the same school board member that represents somebody in the city on the west side, that marginalizes that group of people. My kids are in the Taft community of schools, and we have been marginalized for a long time. I grew up on the west side. I understand how that works. If I were you guys, I'd start all over again and take into consideration all the people we've heard about District 2. Not really sure how that's configured, but they apparently all need to be together. They're going to feel marginalized if they're separated. Probably the way we feel marginalized when we're talking to a board member when the political power is really on the west side. And Nick Melvoin, he's a great board member. I don't have an issue with that, but we do feel marginalized. So I would say that all of these same schools that go into a high school, the community of schools, should all be represented by the exact same board member. I'm not really sure how that plays into your other rules and everything else you have to comply with, but that would be in the best interest of everybody. And it's good to see Ms. Gruhl again involved. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Alfred Lomas. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Alfred Lomas. Can you please unmute yourself? Okay, we will go to the following caller. Caller by the name Jasmine. Can you please unmute yourself?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Garcia, freshman at Roosevelt High School. I had lived in Boyle Heights all my life. Today, I am here asking the commissioners to please keep our District 2 as it currently is, together so we can continue to fight for more money to come into schools with higher needs. Community has been able to come together in this district to keep a beautiful state-of-the-art building in my school, a remodeling project that was won by the people. We have been able to get together and fight for A through G for all to ensure that we are all able to go to college. District 2 has been key in leading with quality across the district. Please don't take away the progress that was able to be won. Work together to ensure that our voices are represented. I want to be able to be in a district that cares for me and fights for my higher education. I ask you to please keep District 2 as it is so we can continue our fight to get a more equitable and just education. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Fabiola Argueta. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Fabiola Argueta. I am a resident of the east side of Los Angeles. I graduated from Garfield High School and I'm a student at ELAC. I lived in the east side of LA my whole life, and I'm a community organizer with the Inner City Struggle. I'm here asking you to listen to our demands and keep District 2 the way that it currently is and not broken up. East side communities of unincorporated East LA, City Terrace, Boyle Heights, El Sereno, and Lincoln Heights are a community of interest, and we have shared a long history of organizing together. We have organized from equitable funding in education all the way to even fighting for the district to be put together and represented. It is important we remain as a community of interest because we share culture together. We are working families of immigrants. We have been able to win affordable housing units, new schools, A through G requirements together, and for the whole district in general. I am representing East LA and our work isn't done. I urge commissioners to make sure that District 2 remains the same. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your comment. Mr. Chair, the following caller was our first speaker, and for some reason she was disconnected. Should we allow her to speak?
Did you track how much time she has left? I don't know.
I did not track the time.
I believe it was about 1 minute left, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so let's do 1 minute left. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next caller by the name Esmeralda Salazar. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Estrella Salazar and I've lived in Boyle Heights for 15 years. I'm a product of schools from the Northeast and I'm currently a student at Lincoln High School. I'm here asking commissioners to listen to our demands in keeping District 2 the way that it currently is. Board District 2 is a community of low-income, working-class, Latinx, first-generation students whose schools have been historically underfunded. By lumping us with communities that do not share the same lived experiences, you are silencing the voice of the East Side. The current powerful voices in Board District 2 will be lost under the overpowering ones, asking for new art supplies, while the East Side is fighting for cultural and art classes. I'm here to influence the next 10 years to make sure Board District 2 stays the same, because your decision will impact the educational experience for students today and for students tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Hilda Sandoval. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Hilda Sandoval. Can you please unmute yourself?
Sí, hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Hilda Sandoval.
Señora Sandoval, dos oraciones, dos vamos a traducir, cada dos oraciones, por favor.
Sí,
Gracias.
Soy mamá de dos hijos del Distrito 5. A mí me gustaría que se quedara el mapa 1B.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Hilda Sandoval. I'm the mother of two children, and District 5, I would like map 1B to remain the same.
Sí, he sido voluntaria en varias escuelas y he visto necesidades en ellas.
I've been a volunteer in several schools and I have seen the needs in them.
Y me gustaría que tuviéramos un representante que nos entendiera a las necesidades que enfrentan nuestros estudiantes.
I would like to have a representative that understands and the needs that our students face.
Sí, gracias por escucharnos.
Thank you for listening to us.
Muchas gracias por su comentario. Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Mary E. Porterfield. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Mary E. Porterfield. Can you please unmute yourself? Okay, we will go to the following caller.
Okay.
Caller by the name Maria Ruiz. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Maria Ruiz. I am a mother and a parent leader in the schools. I am here today to ask that you keep District 2 the way that it currently is. I live in Boyle Heights. I have 3 children who attended Soto Street Elementary School, Hallenbeck Middle School, Roosevelt High School, and Mendez High School. These schools belong to District 2 in LAUSD. I have been involved for more than 10 years in my children's schools as a volunteer, participating in school committees such as the School Site Council and the English Learner Advisory Committee at the district level in the Parent Advisory Committee. I also participated with parent organizations supporting resolutions that help our high-need schools, such as the Student Equity Need Index, SENI, which was pushed by District 2. This resolution helped our schools in the east side and all students through LAUSD with more funds so that our children have the quality education that they deserve. I am here today to ask you not to change District 2. Our parents want our children and schools to continue to push for equity. Thanks for listening to my petition and consider it. We don't want us to fall apart. We want to keep the District 2 the same it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Itzel FCW. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Itzel. Oh, good afternoon. My name is Itzel Flores Castillo Wang, and I am speaking on item 2. I'm a community organizer in Boyle Heights, and I've lived in East LA for over 10 years. I'm here to ask that all of El Sereno, Boyle Heights, East LA, City Terrace, and Lincoln Heights be communities that remain together because they've shared struggles and built strong momentum together to win more equitable funding and resources for our students and schools, racial justice, amongst many more. I do not want to be put together with more affluent communities in the North with a representative that will not hear all of its district's voices and that will put our communities at risk of not being able to continue advancing all of the wins that we've had. I am also here to urge the Commission to work harder on creating a map that will be fair and equitable and that will give underrepresented and historically underserved communities the fair representation they deserve, because the current options shown here do not. I also want to uplift the voices of community members who have been sharing this we've been sharing this information with. Many are still new to this and have voiced that this is not an easy process to understand or navigate, and that more time and resources should have been made available for people to know that this was and is still happening and to understand it better. Because many are still learning about this or barely hearing about it. Some don't feel comfortable enough to speak here. Even the information on the website is not all available in different languages. And if people wanted to watch the recorded sessions, from what I've seen, they're all only available in English. The information to know more about this is not accessible to everyone. And if we really want to highlight the voices of communities here and for you to be able to hear that, I think that this could be much better improved and more outreach is needed. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Mary Porterfield. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Mary Porterfield. Can you please unmute yourself? Okay, we will go to the following caller. Caller by the name Frank G. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good morning, board members. Frank Garcia. As a parent and a council member in the city of Maywood, I'm here to support change in our maps. Map 2 will never give the Southeast communities an ability to have our voices heard. Please consider map 1B so that our community members in Maywood and the rest of the Southeast communities may also have a voice. We too deserve state-of-the-art schools and all that good stuff. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Maria Covarrubia. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Maria Covarrubia.
Sí, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, proceda.
Sí, está muy bien. Muchas gracias. Sí, es mi teléfono, ya lo recorrí. Muchas gracias. Sí, buenas tardes, comisionados. Insistiendo en que tengan en cuenta el plan 1B.
Yes, good afternoon, commissioners. Would like to request to have into account Plan 1B in place.
¿Ya está mejor? Ok. Buenas tardes, comisionados. Insistiendo en que tomen en cuenta el plan 1B para que se presente como se debe de ser.
For Plan 1B to be taken into account so that it can be represented as it should be.
Entiendo que muchas personas están en desacuerdo con el cambio y es cierto que los cambios pueden traer quizás contratiempos o incomodidades para todos.
I understand that a lot of people disagree with the changes, and it's true that changes can make you set a step back or have differences with, or make it be uncomfortable for many.
Siendo una mamá representante de todos los padres que no se pueden meter en estas reuniones, incluyendo a nuestros estudiantes, quiero pedirles que tomen en cuenta este plan 1B para que se haga ese cambio para poder tener mejoramientos en nuestras escuelas.
Being a mom and representing all the parents that can't make it to the meetings, including our students, I ask that Plan 1B be taken into account so that the changes can be done and have improvements in the schools.
En los tiempos que yo he estado aquí, he visto cómo Walnut Park, Huntington Park, Maywood, Southgate y otras comunidades están muy empobrecidas educativamente.
During the time that I've been here, I've seen how Walnut Park, Huntington, Maywood, Southgate have all been in poor educational conditions.
Y respetando los comentarios de las personas anteriores, quizás no vieron el mapa que es anterior y al que queremos como hoy, como el 1B, queremos que sea equitativamente para mejoramiento de nuestros estudiantes y perdón.
Respecting the comments of the previous people that perhaps did not see the previous maps, but we would like 1B for there to be equity and improvement with our students.
Mis hijos han ido ahí en esas escuelas, son 4 de ellos y ya tengo 3 graduados, pero realmente no es justo que ahora el último que tengo siga haciendo lo mismo en la misma pobreza que hemos vivido por casi 27 años que he estado yo aquí.
My children have gone there 4 of them, and 3 of them have graduated, but it's not fair that the last one that remains there for him to be in that same poor condition as we have been in the past 27 years.
Hemos visto escuelas sobrepobladas y no es una. Waldo Parra tiene varias escuelas, Huntington Park lo tiene, Maywood lo tiene y nunca nos han apoyado en eso. Solamente hicimos una escuela en Mayos.
We have been overpopulated, such as schools with Walnut Park, Huntington, and Maywood, but we've never had any support. They've only made one school in May.
7 años atrás batallamos mucho para despoblar esa escuela de Mayos Avenue y ahora esperamos que haya ese cambio. Por eso queremos el cambio del plan 1B para que nosotros podamos enriquecer a nuestros estudiantes. Gracias.
7 years before that, we struggled over Maywood Avenue, and now we're expecting that change to be done with Plan 1B to be able to enrich our students. Thank you.
Muchas gracias por su comentario. Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Christian. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Christian Cardenas. I was born, raised, and live in Lincoln Heights. I was an LAUSD student throughout that whole time. I'm here to ask you to keep District 2 together. After years of disinvestment and apathy to communities on the east side, we fought for a representative district. That win has been pivotal as we have been able to fight for and win new schools, more equitable policies, and necessary updates. This has been achieved by finally having the representation we deserve and fought for. So please do not take that away from the good people of the east side. Lincoln Heights, Boyle Heights, and El Sereno are clearly communities of interest as we have large immigrant populations, lower income levels, and have suffered from years of disinvestment. We have little in common with our more affluent neighbors to the north and do not share the same organizing goals. Please keep District 2 intact with Lincoln Heights, Boyle Heights, and El Sereno. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Eddie Martinez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, hi, Eddie Martinez. I'm the Vice Mayor of Huntington Park. I'm here to advocate on behalf of our residents who are immigrants, communities of faith, and LGBTQ. As you know, for the past 10 years, we've been disempowered. We've been not able to have representation because we've been attached to Northeast Los Angeles. We need to do the right thing. We now need to give the Southeast opportunities to have representation. We need to put more resources into the Southeast. It's about equity. And so I'm here to advocate for a map that really represents our communities of interest. I'm here to advocate for map 1B, and please do the right thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Kirsten Roman. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Kirsten Roman. I'm a senior at Woodrow Wilson High School, and I have attended schools in the East Side for my entire K-12 education, and I am here to urge the commissioners today to listen to me and other students on the call demanding to keep the board District 2 as it is because of our educational experience, has improved due to the historical wins in our region. 10 years ago, East Side leaders fought to create a district where they can actually be represented, which is now known as Board District 2. I'm here to continue the legacy for another 10 years so that our process does not get reversed and we can continue to undo policies that have impacted our school district. Board District 2 has been fundamental in reversing a lot of policies by being a champion for equity and decriminalizing our students. As a result, my school, Wilson, was able to benefit from additional funds to best support our high-need students. Due to continuous organizing efforts in Board District 2 as a student, I have personally been involved in the fight to bring more equitable funding to our high-need schools, and I feel like my voice is making a difference. If Board District 2 is not kept together, my voice and other voices of students will be erased. And it's important to keep Board District 2 as it is because I and many others want to ensure that the people from my communities of interest in this district are taken care of, that our voices are stronger to break the cycle of poverty, and that we can grow with each other rather than being underfunded and unheard. I'm here to urge the commissioners to keep Board District 2 as it is to protect our community voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Mary Porterfield. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Mary Porterfield. Can you please unmute yourself? Okay, we will go to the following caller. Caller by the name Daniel. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Thank you for unmuting me. My name is Danny. I'm a longtime supporter of the aims and work of board member Monica Garcia in Board District 2, and so want to establish that her focus on equity has been valuable. That said, as you know, your task is to redraw our maps where each district will have similar population, not to protect or advocate for a particular incumbent or past candidate for office. And that is the equity lens that I know you are keeping in mind. Thus, I am calling and asking that you not keep Board District 2 the way it is, with all due respect to the community callers, and especially the East Side residents and activists who have made their wishes on both sides of this discussion known. All the neighborhoods in LAUSD have to be included in a district, and you have heard repeatedly that callers would like geographically similar and demographically similar communities to be kept whole. I'm not sure why no one mentions it, but the draft map before you 1B does keep the East Side whole and does keep East Side communities with similar interests within the same demographic. I believe it does satisfy what that community is due. What the commission's draft maps have before them does keep communities whole, with the exception of map 2, which is quite similar to the distorted map we have currently, where Southeast cities are grouped with communities that do not share their interests. I do not support continuing the gerrymandering of those communities. Draft map 2 will do that. I support allowing gateway cities, in this case, to be served by a district that will not force them to be connected with cities that they couldn't actually drive to from their homes on our roads. So please link communities like Huntington Park and Bell together with the communities around downtown. I clearly feel this is a path forward for equity for all the communities. Draft map 2 is a joke, and I hope we don't move forward to it. And with all respect to everyone who's called in, that concludes my comments. Thank you for your work.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Stephanie Garcia. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Garcia, and I'm an alumni of the Los Angeles Unified School District that attended Sierra Park Elementary School, El Sereno Middle School, and Anahuacalmecac High School, and my sister is also still in LAUSD. I'm here today because I want to uplift that LAUSD District 2 needs to stay the same. I was raised in El Sereno, and my community is proudly a part of the East Side. For me, the East Side includes neighborhoods such as East LA, Boyle Heights, Lincoln Heights, and City Terrace. And I also want to uplift that there are partnerships in the East Side that have supported my educational journey. For example, I would go to Mendez High School in Boyle Heights during the summer for a math enrichment program that really supported my journey towards attending UCLA. And so I just want to also recognize that changing the district can impact partnerships that exist in the community. I was raised by my mentors of community organizers from the Eastside Cafe and Inner City Struggle, who encouraged me to go to college and instilled in me a value of giving back to our community. I'm here today because I want to uplift that it is important enough for us to stay as the East Side, to remain a community of interest, because we come from similar backgrounds of struggle and resistance. In El Sereno, Huntington Drive, Soto Street, and North Mission Road bridges together as immigrants, low-income working class, Spanish-speaking community of renters that work hard to ensure the next generation have access to equitable resources. For LAUSD, District 2 needs to stay as is. Moving forward, we need somebody who represents us the way Monica Garcia has to ensure that our high-needs students are supported. I'm a first-generation college graduate, and I'm now an organizer with Inner City Struggle, continue to fight for access to higher ed and wellness in our community. As Inner City Struggle, we've worked with LAUSD to find solutions over the past 27 years to address overcrowding, ensuring all of our students graduate with A through G requirements, and creating restorative solutions to support our young people. The East Side is resilient, and the way we've come to bring resources to our community, please ensure we stay together as a community of interest. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Martha Escobedo. Can you please unmute yourself? caller by the name Martha Escobedo.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Oh, hi, my name is Martha Escobedo. I'm a resident in the Forest area, Incorporated, and I'm calling up on behalf of the people that we live on Forest. We are looking and you could say like asking for your help because people like to be considered as a part of the ID plan for District 5, which in our community, we have a lot of kids that really need a lot of education. And we also have to have the resources to provide for them a better lifestyle. As I always say, that it's very encouraging to know that people are out there doing the right stuff for them. And this is one of the ways to do it. I'm happy to hear that we're still implementing new ideas and we can have a better way to serve our youth, because at the end of the day, we have to make a better world for them. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for taking our opinions and making sure that it goes and follows through, because we have to be responsible, and then we also have to set up an example for them that through education, we could always have a better lifestyle. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Karina Macias. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, commissioners. This is Councilmember Karina Macias. I appreciate the time being given to this task. As always, I know the decisions are not easy, but it's important to consider all aspects. Map 2, Board District 5 keeps our district in the same with no change, in the same lines that have kept our students and our schools at a disadvantage. And to give you an example, LAUSD has a rule when LAUSD takes something away from a school, they must replace it with something equal value. Yet one of our schools recently had an indoor pool taken from us and being replaced with an outdoor pool, a proof of the inequities occurring in our region. As I have mentioned in the past, Map 1B gives this district a chance and a much needed change. The goal here for us in the Southeast is not to create a disadvantage to other communities. East LA, Boyle Heights, and Sereno Lincoln Heights will remain together. There is no equity if we leave District 5 the same. For over 10 years, our students have been provided the short end of the stick. Let's give them a chance not only to thrive, but a chance to see themselves represent the district in the future that they currently reside in now. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller with the last 3 digits, 336. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller with the last 3 digits, 336. Can you please use *6 to unmute yourself?
Hello, my name is Ana Lana Chavez. I am a student at Roosevelt High School and a resident of Boyle Heights. I am here asking commissioners to listen to our demands in keeping District 2 as is in its current configuration. The fight for educational equity has been led by District 2 students, parents, and residents. We have been able to win SENI, which allocated more money into the highest need schools. This was an effort to push for equity, and it impacted all students throughout LAUSD. In District 2, we have a lot of culture that bonds us together, from historic landmarks to also being bonded by struggles. We face housing insecurities, economic hardships, but overall, we come together to advocate and uplift students. It is important for District 2 to remain as it is because we want to remain together with a district that is fully represented by our communities that are pushing for equity in our educational system. I am here representing Boyle Heights and asking for District 2 to remain the same.
Thank you very much for your comment. The next caller by the name Linda Bassett. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Hi, my name is Linda Bassett. I'm a representative for Assembly District 63 elected, and that includes Maywood, Southgate, Cudahy, and Bell. I'm also a retired LAUSD teacher and a former UTLA rep, and I knocked on many doors in the Southeast LA area. I'm here listening, and I hear that District 2 wishes to be kept together. I can understand that. By looking at the map, they're the only district that seems to follow the districting guidelines, being let me see if I can find it where it says that are contiguous, compact, I'm not sure about the natural boundaries and streets, but neighbors and hoods and communities of interest. And so you can see how successful it is. They've got many people calling in to keep their district together. However, the gerrymandering can be seen in District 2 with that north and south areas connected by a little wee sliver. That's gerrymandered. The people in Southeast LA need to have equity and fairness, and that can only be done at the best here with what you have is by map 2B or 1B. I understand the feelings of District 2, but they will be connected with, like someone else said, other people of like mind and be very close to them also with map 1B. Otherwise, you need to start all over again somehow, because none of the other districts, which all go from north to south, are not compact or contiguous, really. So it's a mess as far as I can see. But please, you've got to get rid of map 2 and the inequities that it causes for District 5. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Farnaz Simantop. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Farnaz Simantop, and I have been an involved parent in the Valley for over 15 years now. And I'm calling to advocate for either map 1A or map 1B. Map 2 would cause a huge detriment to our Valley community because it would remove the representation that we have now. We need as many board members representing us as possible because we are a diverse community and we usually are overlooked because the Valley is not considered important, even though we have a high population of low-income families living here. Specifically, I'm concerned about the change that map 2 would cause with Board District 4 and Board District 3, removing the schools that are represented by the board member who represents Board District 4 right now. Taft High School is going through a remodelization project that already is a bureaucratic nightmare, and we don't need to add another layer of delay by changing the board member in the middle of this process. So I'd like to advocate that map 2 not be considered in this process. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Manuel Urrutia. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, good afternoon, commissioners. I'm calling to express support for my attempt to a compromise, which is a mixture of maps 1B and 2. 2 in regards to the Valley, and I will have to disagree with the previous caller. I don't think that she's correct on that, but we'll leave that aside. But it will keep Encino, Sherman, Encino, Tarzana, and Woodland Hills in this side in the north side of the Valley where they should be, and not feel like a previous caller, Daniel, felt that they've been marginalized. I'm suggesting 1B in terms of the partition of the east of Los Angeles, including the southeast, because map 2 in there, map 1B, I'm sorry, does keep the entirety of the west side of the east side together. It adds it to Eagle Rock and Highland Park, and it does also put them together with parts of Hollywood, but it is still a minority-majority district, and they should have sufficient political power to remain in power. I haven't heard anybody from Koreatown or even MacArthur Park. There was one speaker who said, "Why are we being moved? What's in it for us?" I think that with map 1B, at least Koreatown and that section of the south of downtown, together with the southeast, is a much more viable and fair district. To me, it's all political. It has nothing to do with how much money is flowing, because the money is really not controlled by the board. The board can only say yes or no. But the politics of the situation are such that as you can see in this very well-organized effort on keeping themselves together the same way. I don't know why they want Koreatown. I honestly do not understand that. They would be better off with Eagle Rock and Highland Park, which is more Latino than anything else. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller with the last 3 digits, 635. Please use *6 to unmute yourself.
Hi, yes, can you all hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Okay. Hello, my name is Savannah Watson. I am a South Central resident and former student at Wilson High School, and I'm here continuing to uplift the need of District 2 to remain in the configuration that it currently is, especially as I have greatly benefited from a district that centers values important to my personal development. And when I was a student at Wilson, I would wake up at 4 a.m. to take the bus from South Central LA to East LA, not solely for the purpose of education, but because I knew that organizations such as Inner City Struggle and leaders like Monica Garcia support students to be leaders and champions of change. I enjoyed attending Wilson High School because through my organizing, I was improving the quality of education in schools that needed most. Our fight for equity is not only for District 2, but for all students of LAUSD. In the last 10 years, we have worked together as District 2 to be a voice for racial equity and educational justice to undo historical neglect that our students face. And I would really like to say that, again, please keep District 2 as it currently is to continue our fight towards racial equity and educational justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Sarah Ruth. Can you please unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Wow. I would like to speak to the question of gerrymandering and keeping District 2 the same. Just visually, it's very clear that map 2 is the very definition of gerrymandering. That is what gerrymandering is. So all these people saying they want to keep the map the same are saying they really want to keep this objectionable system going where they have unnaturally, if you will, linked together communities that are not sort of culturally and geographically similar. That's a real problem. The same goes for District 4 in map 1B, you know, taking a piece of the valley like this. The District 4 is pretty much coastal and also a bit of Hollywood, and then stretching also into the valley. It's just too diverse, too broad, too far. So I agree with the caller who really looks for a combination of map 2 and map 1B, map 2 for the District 4 pieces in the District 5, I guess it is. No, not 5, the valley that holds the valley together. And District 3, excuse me, map 1B that holds the east side in an un-gerrymanders things and holds it into the 1B picture. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Mary Porterfield. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Mary Porterfield. Can you please unmute yourself? Mr. Chair, I'm not sure if the caller is able to hear us or is able to unmute. Would you like to wait a couple of seconds if other folks would like to comment?
Sure, we have one more. I mean, did they speak already? Oh, there they go. Did they speak already? Because I could have seen that they were up there for a while, getting skipped, or did they already speak?
No, this was a caller that I kept on calling on and wouldn't respond.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Next caller by the name Alfred Lomas. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Alfred Lomas, can you please unmute yourself? Once again, caller by the name Alfred Lomas, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Oh, there we go. Yes, my name is Alfred Lomas. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm an alumni of the Los Angeles Unified School District schools. I attended Middleton Elementary, Gage Junior High, and Huntington Park High in the Southeast District. I'm also a community leader in the Florence Firestone area. And as I work in the community, I can say that we would benefit greatly from connecting our Florence Firestone schools with Board District 5 so that they are connected to the Southeast LA schools. I ask the Commission to please consider redrawing the map so that Florence Firestone is with the Southeast LA communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Let's wait a couple seconds. I think, how many speakers did we have, Gladys, today?
A total of 53.
53, okay, that's what I got. Had over 50, okay. Okay, I think we could close public comment.
We have another caller.
Let's do that topic.
Okay. Caller by the name Maria Elena Gomez. Can you please unmute yourself? Caller by the name Maria Elena Gomez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Sí, ¿sí me escuchan?
Sí.
Sí, mi nombre es María Elena Gómez y quiero darle las gracias por invitarnos y darnos la oportunidad de participar.
My name is Maria Elena Gomez, and I want to thank you for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to participate.
Para poder hacer cambios en la distribución de los mapas,
To be able to make changes in the redistribution of the maps.
recuerden que estos cambios solo se hacen cada 10 años y espero que pongan el mapa 1B.
Remember that these changes are only done every 10 years. I hope that map 1B is put in place.
Pero si dejaran el mapa igual, entonces que se aseguren que las escuelas distribuyan el presupuesto.
If the map was to be left the same, then to make sure that the schools distribute the budget.
Que distribuyen el presupuesto en las necesidades de los estudiantes, para las necesidades de los estudiantes. Sí, gracias.
To have the budget distributed among the students' needs. Thank you.
Muchas gracias por su comentario. Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Daisy Alvarez. Can you please unmute yourself?
Sí, buenas tardes. Soy la señora Daisy Álvarez. Soy la mamá de 2 hijos del distrito 5 y estoy representándolos a ellos y a todos los hijos y a todos los de aquí de la comunidad del distrito.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Mrs. Daisy Alvarez, the mother of 2 children here in District 5 and representing them and all in the community.
Y le pido al señor comisionado que tomen en sus manos el plan 1B, que sean elegidos y que nos den ese mapa y representando con una responsabilidad a todos nuestros estudiantes.
And I ask the commissioners to take into account Plan 1B, to have that elected and give us that representation.
Queremos también que como nosotros como padres latinos seamos tomados en cuenta.
I want us as Latino parents to be taken into account.
Que en el Distrito 5 se trabaje equitativamente en los términos de nuestra población, términos para así tener mejoramiento en nuestra escuela.
District 5 to be able to work with equity and population terms for us to have improvements in the schools.
Okay, eso es todo. Muchas gracias.
Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias por su comentario. Thank you very much for your comment. Next caller by the name Aide Bravo. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, my name is Aide Bravo. I am a teacher in the Board District 5. I moved into Board District 5 in 1974, my family and I, when I was 5 years old, and I went to all the Board District 5 schools. I taught and I still teach in District 5. I've been teaching in District 5 for 25 years, and I continue living in the Southeast area. According to your criteria, the geographical area must be compact. Your criteria also requires districts to preserve neighborhoods and communities of people sharing common interests. Current District 5 is shaped like a horseshoe. How is the Southeast similar to the North area? This goes against the criteria, your criteria. The areas are significantly distinct. The Southeast area has been displaced. The Southeast area has been displeased with this gerrymandered map since its inception. This is blatant gerrymandering and has been going on for many years. We need to not consider map 2. Maps 1A and 1B, I actually prefer 1B, should be the selected map. The time has come for our district to have the support it needs to foster our neighborhood schools. And I'm referring to our area. The marginalization of our Southeast community has to end now. This is the opportunity for you to make the decision to ensure every area is receives equal opportunity to be heard. Los Angeles City Council Redistricting Commission should listen to the community, and I'm part of the community. Consider 1B. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Okay, let's proceed to close public comment and head back to the commissioners for any final comments or remarks. I see Commissioner DeHaan with their hand raised.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for the comments today. It's great to see the turnout and continue to see the number of people speaking out. I wanted to clarify a couple of things that I heard in the comments that I think are just important to uplift. The first was an implication that any attempts to keep or to proceed with map 2 might be to try to protect the incumbent. And I just wanted everyone to know that the current incumbent is termed out. So there's no implications there with wherever that goes. And I just, for the record, wanted people to understand that the current incumbent is termed out. The other was feedback about outreach, and I definitely appreciated hearing about the recordings not being available in Spanish or other languages. So would love to know from staff what opportunities there are there or other solutions for allowing people to access the recordings in multiple languages. There was also comments about the website not being available, and my understanding is that our website has the Google Translate available so that it could be translated in various languages. So just also wanted to make sure staff could confirm that and explain how people can access the information in multiple language. And then just in terms of timeline, also agree that it has been very frustrating, I can imagine, especially for the public. And largely this is due to the fact that we did not receive census data. It kept getting pushed back. And so that just crunched our window of being able to create these maps and to have this public process. So it's not an excuse, but I just think it's important to remind everyone the implications of the census process last year and how it's impacting us today. And it's also impacting us in terms of numbers, because as we've spoken about in previous meetings, one of the challenges is that Board District 5 had a drop in enrollment or drop in population. And I think many of us would agree that that's not reflective of reality. It's reflective of a census occurring during a pandemic and administered by an administration that was trying to suppress folks turning out, particularly communities of color. And then the other thing I wanted to uplift was around, we've got a lot of feedback about different maps and liking different configurations of different maps. And Commissioner Lundqvist has shared before that we actually have the opportunity to pick different pieces of the maps that are before you, so that we're not making a decision necessarily fully on 1A, 1B, or 2, that we can also just pick different pieces of it. So I just wanted the public to know that that is something we're considering. So when we hear you talk about what you like in one map versus another, that allows us to understand how we might put those different pieces of the puzzle together. And then lastly, I would just be remiss to not make comments about what we continue to hear. And it's very heartbreaking to see two communities, I think, with very shared interests, feeling like they're kind of pitted against each other, and that being the communities in Board District 2 as a whole, and then the Southeast cities in Board District 5. And I think what I'm hearing from Board District 2 about wanting to be kept whole is that there's a concern that you could potentially split Board District 2 so that it was connected to the Southeast cities, but then that would in effect impact how they feel as a community as a whole on top. But I'm also hearing from the Southeast cities how this current configuration does not, you don't feel that you're empowered to elect a candidate of choice. And so we'll continue to push to find solutions to this. I personally don't have a decision yet on this, but I did want to just say that regardless of these maps, I hope the folks that have organized, particularly in the Southeast cities, can also organize for your current representation. I mean, until we have these maps, like, your board members should be responsive to you because they are the elected board member for your community. And until we can fix this, hopefully we will, I would just also encourage folks to share a lot of the great messaging that I've heard over the last couple of weeks. I think would be really important, especially as the school district's considering policies that will impact those communities today. Thank you.
Thank you for the questioners, Commissioner DeHaan. So just a couple responses. In terms of the website, you are correct. The website can be translated into many different languages with the Google Translate button, which is up on the right-hand corner of the website. And so almost everything on the website can be translated utilizing that button. There are also, under important documents, a variety of documents in all of the languages that were directed by the commission in terms of hard copy documents. And so there's a lot of documents there as well in multiple languages. In terms of the recordings of the meetings, unfortunately, Zoom does not record the interpretation channels. And so there really isn't an opportunity for us to capture and record the interpretation that takes place at our meetings, which is unfortunate, but at least we do have the, the audio and video in English available to the public. And so I'm happy to respond to any other questions you might have, Commissioner, but hopefully that helps clarify some of those issues.
Great. Thank you, Andrew. Any other remarks or comments from commissioners before we close? Oh, we have a Vice Chair on brief.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to follow up with the Executive Director. Andrew, are our minutes and the court interpreters documents available for translation? So if someone is looking onto the website and opens up that document and clicks on the right-hand corner for the translate button, is there an ability for those documents to be translated in multiple languages?
I'm unsure because they're hard copy documents. So it's a great question, Commissioner. I'll talk with the CLA staff on Monday to see if that's something that we can do. We had that problem initially with the public comment Google form that we use, and we were able to fix that. So I'll see if we can do that as well. Unfortunately, it's a little more difficult with the hard copy documents, but I'll see if that's something that we can do.
Thank you. I could see that as a potential workaround for the Zoom limited ability. Separate from that, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to provide another comment, and I will reserve mine generally for the public hearing that we have next week. I believe it's on Wednesday. I just wanted an appreciation to thank all of the participants for coming today, given that we had over 50 folks providing comment to us, and those that actually waited for to be the like 56th caller or so. Appreciate that they were on here. Also appreciate the commissioners on here. I mean, we're all here. We're all sitting here in front of our computers listening. And we, I think, are all taking copious notes. And we are also mindful that folks, as mentioned on the call today, weren't able to make it today. And we are still including their comments and being really mindful of those comments that we're hearing elsewise. So thank you again to everyone for joining us today. Just wanted to say that, and I'll again reserve my comments for the next hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Ambriz. We have a comment from Commissioner Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question for Executive Director. Have we received any additional maps since our last hearing, our last public hearing?
I believe we did receive a second map submission from Dr. Urita, who spoke earlier today. But the two maps that he submitted are the only public map submissions that we've received today.
Okay, great. I would just encourage folks who have joined us today. One, I actually would like to thank you all for making time on a Saturday morning. I know we could not find other things to do on a Saturday, but thank you for making your voice heard. I also want to encourage all of you to explore the mapping tool that we have online and to submit any recommendations that you have for us to consider as we continue in this process. I think that is also another way that you can advocate for some of the maps or changes that you'd like to see. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hernandez. So we have Commissioner Rapeni.
Sure. I just wanted to ask something related to outreach, which is at an earlier point in our process, we were kind of talking about whether it would be possible to get LUSD to do something, encouraging folks to participate in this process. Those of us that are parents, we get the emails and the texts, and I would love to see still something officially from the school district. We're coming to the end here. We've got a few meetings left, and now is the time. Obviously, there will be more process at the city council as well, but it would be nice to see our school district putting some energy into supporting this process, because ultimately, even though it's super awkward that the city of LA runs it, this is for them and this is about them. So I would like to request that we look into that again. Thank you.
It was done already. I confirmed it was done for these meetings. Antonio Placentia sent out a blast message, and then as a result, we also coordinated being able to get these meetings translated for the families that they sent the message out to. So that's how come we added Farsi, because the school district asked, because that was one of the messages they sent out. Okay. So I don't, but I was able to confirm that they did send this, particularly for these 3 public hearing meetings.
Genesis?
Yeah, I was also told that they sent out information to the families and staff members as well. But we'll continue to engage them further and ensure that the next commission meetings are also included in that outreach process.
Okay, yeah, I must have missed that one. I'll go back and look for it. Thank you.
Great. Seems like no more comments from our fellow commissioners. I want to thank once again everyone for joining us today. And having the most, I think today's the most comments we've had from the public on one hearing. And the next, we have 2 weeks really to make decisions, because I always remind people the 27th is really the day we vote on. After we vote on the map, the report that gets sent to council. So we really need the next 2 meetings, the 13th and 20th. We're asking all folks who joined us today to also be joining us for those next previous meetings. We'll also be taking public comment at those meetings. So thank you once again. Thank you for the commissioners who stayed around and were part of this conversation. You have a comment, Vice Chair Ambriz? Sorry.
Yes, Mr. Chair, could you just repeat for the public the times of both of those hearings or Andrew for the public?
Yeah, they're both 4 o'clock on both Wednesdays, October 13th and October 20th at 4 p.m. And So I'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Okay,
I'll
second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, all right, thank you all, and go Dodgers.
Bye, everyone. Go Dodgers.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.